Friday, February 24th. It's all right here on NBC Connecticut.
Calling all entrepreneurs. Now, if someone said they could help transform your business in just 7 minutes, you'd be all ears, right? Get those ears ready. Meet Julia Kline, the author of Sleaze-Free Selling. Julia, good morning to you.
Good morning, Kerri. Thank you so much.
So this is a really enticing book title.
Thank you.
It made us think, okay, so Sleaze-Free Selling. Let's start first with what you think sleazy selling is.
Sleazy selling is anytime you are taking your products and services and trying to shove them down somebody's throat.
Which nobody wants.
Nobody wants
and
that.
And that doesn't work often. And often
No.
I've got to think if people buy that way, they regret it.
Often, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so sleaze-free selling, what should people do?
It basically reverses the process. So when you're being sleazy like that, ramming your stuff down somebody's throat, you're thinking about yourself, your needs, your commission, your quota. Instead, you want to reverse it and think about your customer. What is your customer's problem? What's the pain they're in? What do they need?
So is that what selling does essentially? It's supposed to solve my problem, not yours.
Ideally, yes.
Yeah. Okay, and that's when it works better?
Absolutely. And everybody talks about that. They pay lip service to it, but very few people really internalize that because it's difficult. As human beings, it's our nature to think about ourselves much more so than to think about other people.
All right, let's talk about your 7 minutes because this is so enticing.
Yes.
So 7 minutes that we take, obviously we can't do it right now, but just, you know, if we go through that quickly, how can it change, you know, how can it become the most valuable 7 minutes we spend through the next year for our business?
Yeah, absolutely. The most valuable 7 minutes you can spend on your business is a process that I take clients and event attendees through. And what I do is I basically force them gently to
Sleaze-free, of course.
Sleaze-free,
right.
To put the customer first. And one of the approaches is that so many people, especially women business owners, our primary lead generation strategy is with personal networking. So it's the classic situation where somebody says to you, what do you do? And if somebody says, what do you do? The natural response is, say, well, what I do is. Mm-hmm. And now you're talking about yourself, which is boring.
And kind of a turnoff, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So instead, if somebody says to you, what do you do? Answer by saying, well, you know, my best client is, in my case, I would say my best client is someone who hates sales and marketing. And maybe they haven't done it very well in the past. They've lost money, they've wasted time, but they really want something that's going to work the next time.
Interesting.
Well,
so rethink the way you answer these questions that we all get.
Yeah, because that's a captivating thing to say, right?
Sure.
Because whether you are interested in selling more or not, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about the person who has the problem. And so it's intrinsically interesting. It draws someone in. Whereas if you said, what do I do? I said, oh, well, I'm the author of a book and I am a small business consultant and I help people to transform their message, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares.
Right. And one ear at the other. That's right.
Right. When you're talking about the other person, it's intrinsically interesting.
Interesting. So you spend 7 minutes going through exercises like that.
Exactly.
People completely come up changing the way they thought all these years.
Yeah. It's an exercise in like writing down a few thoughts. Then it's an exercise in learning to make that shift. Your politicians do all the time. We call it spinning, right? Just because someone asks you the question one way doesn't mean you have to answer it that way. So I teach to change the way that you answer the question, and then a few little subtle tweaks that inject some powerful mojo into what you're saying, because you want to put a benefit statement, you want to put a time deadline on there, even when you're answering just very quickly in a non-sleazy way.
I could listen to this all day, and actually we have an opportunity to listen to it tomorrow night, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us about the Over 40 Females event tomorrow night.
I am so excited. I am speaking tomorrow night at the Greenwich chapter of the Over 40 Females, and it's at the Ginger Man in Greenwich. And if you mention that you saw us here today, you can actually get a free copy of my book, Sleaze-Free Selling.
How nice of you. And actually, here's one of the events in the past. That's Judy Goss. She's come on our show many times. This is a wonderful you mentioned networking and how that can also really help. This is a wonderful opportunity for that, isn't it?
It's fabulous. Any woman, any business owner, but networking is, in my belief, one of the best ways to build any business of any size. Learning to be really good at personal, one-on-one, face-to-face interaction, and just coming from your heart and attracting people from their heart. It's the best way to grow your business.
Keeping the sleaze at bay. Love it. Thanks so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
Best of luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Hoping the snow stays away so you get a good turnout. Julia, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's get a check of our first alert forecast. Bob Maxon is standing by.
I don't know how I answer the pressure you just put on me in a non-sleazy way.